The United States Military Academy, better known as West Point. It is one of the most iconic institutions in the world. However, almost didn't make it out of the blocks. After the American Revolutionary War, people were wary of standing armies for several reasons. The soldiers of the British occupation had been excessively intrusive and occasionally brutal to civilians. A century earlier, Oliver Cromwell was a high-ranking commander in the English Parliamentarian Army. He used military force to gain political power, which ultimately led to the execution of King Charles I and the appointment of Cromwell as Lord Protector. Also, standing armies cost a lot. Of course, Thomas Jefferson and George Washington believed that the new nation needed professionally trained officers if it was to survive future conflicts. They chose to locate the military academy in a remote part of the Hudson River in New York. West Point was a critical strategic spot on the Hudson River as British ships had to slow down to navigate the sharp bend in the river while the colonial garrison took potshots at them. The location was also far away from political influence. After several unsuccessful commanders, President Monroe appointed Sylvanus Thayer as the superintendent in 1817. The academy then became the nation's first engineering college, a vital skill for a new and expanding country. Thayer promoted values of honor and responsibility, enforced strict mental and physical discipline, introduced a demerit system, organized summer encampments for military training, upheld high academic standards, and required cadets to consistently uphold excellent military bearing. Things were going great until Andrew Jackson was elected president. Jackson was a self-made military leader famous for his victory at the Battle of New Orleans. He saw no need for an elite military class financed by the government. He started to overturn many of Thayer's decisions, eventually forcing Thayer to leave West Point and return to the Corps of Engineers. With West Point losing its leaders, politicians began questioning its value. However, what politicians did not question was the Academy's usefulness in providing education to the sons of these politicians' best supporters. It is interesting to note that Thayer later established the engineering school at Dartmouth. West Point barely held on until its graduates started to prove their value of their training in defending the nation. West Point produced many military officers responsible for numerous victories, especially in the Mexican War and the American Civil War. They also helped build the country's infrastructure. The Thayer system was the main factor behind their success, and it's still in effect at West Point today. So, while Thayer was driven away by a president who didn't recognize his worth, his legacy endures. His innovative approach served his country well. If you're interested in learning more about Thayer and other innovators who changed the world, check out the book, Innovators Who Changed the World by James Webb. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Audible, and Kindle.